here, girl. I know you think it's a game, but it is absolutely not, okay? This is the energy supplement from Just Move Supplements. That's right. It's damn near all gone, girl. And that's because I had to get that energy up so I can complete the workout, so I can give y'all this body, this transformation, get into it, okay? And I'm done working out now, so that's why we're moving on to the protein shake. Oh yes, it's already in there, girl. It's already made right here. This is the mixture of the banana pudding, the chocolate cake, and the buttercream cupcake. And you really want to be fancy, you can go ahead and add that blueberry muffin if that's what you want to do, girl. But for me, it's these three right here, okay? You put that with some almond milk, you mix it all up in honey, okay? Your muscles have gained life, new energy, agility. Get into it, okay? Just Move Supplements. Thank you very much. Hold up, Chief. Okay, don't forget about that TLC NutriBurst to get that multivitamin probably, because we all need a little extra. And child, if you want that sea moss that go down smooth, don't come up rough, okay? Get into the TLC Nautica sea moss. Yes, get that from me. And child, if your stomach hurt and you need to move some things around so you can be free, okay, go ahead and get that ISO tea down below in the description box. Get it all from me. Come on in, come on in, come on in, not come on in, not come. Sorry, y'all know I'm weird, whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. So let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
Peace to the nation. What's going on, people? I got a new background. It's cute. I'm here for it. Okay. What's going on, everybody? I hope y'all are having a good Friday. We're about to get into another Now That We're Grown For. I Like It Like That. So this is obviously one that many of y'all have not seen and don't know about. But girl, sometimes back in the day, HBO would come through what they call in a clutch. Okay. Are my sound effects still not working? Y'all still can't hear my shit? I don't know. Peace be to the people, though. I'm here. All right. Now listen. I'm gonna try not to be here so long. This is a really good one for me, though. Like, I don't know if y'all know about any of these people. Okay. So I'm about to run y'all off a cast list right quick. Hold up. So first of all, we have Lauren Velez as Lisette Linetez. We have John Setta as Chino Linetez. We have Jesse Borrego as Alexis, which is one of the craziest things I have ever seen, because Jesse Borrego has played in other things as just, a straight man. So for him to play this role as Alexis, aka Alex, the trans sister of Lisette, girl, it's a lot. Okay, so we getting into some conversations today. Okay. We also have Lisa Vidal, who is a part of a real little, they basically, like, when I think about them, because it's Christina Vidal, Lisa Vidal, and I don't know if they have any other family members in a little clique that's a part of television and movies and stuff like that, because y'all know we were so into Taina. And so Magdalena, is Lisa Vidal, which is Taina's oldest sister. They remind me of Kim and her sister and then her mama. You know what I mean? Y'all know who I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about Regine. Then we have Griffin Dunn as Stephen Price, Rita Moreno. Okay, she's an OG. It's a lot of them, child. Listen, Vincent Laresca as Angel back in the day. Elvis Nolasco, I think they say. Y'all know Elvis Nolasco. I'm saying his last name wrong, but y'all know Elvis, because he always play a Dominican in something. Like it don't matter what it is, he playing a Dominican girl. Okay. So these are just some people that you might know of. You see them in the pictures and shit. Okay. And this is like such a, I feel like a cult classic, because it's even hard to find a lot of photos. Yes, Kim Fields and Alexis. It's hard to find photos from this film, but it's really good. And I hope that y'all enjoy this rendition of Now That We're Grown. I really hope that sound effect was heard. It probably wasn't, but that's okay, y'all. I have a big old cup of my tea, and I'm ready to go, girl. Hold up. Hold up. Yes, 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 y'all. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so yes, Chino is the guy from Chicago PD. Yes. Yes, all the OG Puerto Ricans. Yes. Okay. So y'all ready? I'm about to set the scene for y'all because y'all gotta close y'all mind. You gotta close your mind and be in the moment with me. Are you ready for this? I'm about to take you down the road. Okay. We about to go into the abyss of a movie. All right. Close your eyes. And I want you to imagine it's the summer. It's hot. We in a Bronx. Okay. And Lisette has been being pumped on by Chino for 89 long minutes with the window wide open. And let me explain why this is not sexy. This is not something that's supposed to be a turn on. His homeboys are downstairs on the front stoop listening, along with his side chick that is jealous. And so she throws a glass at the window. The homeboys are screaming, Chino, 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 because all he wants to do is fuck her forever. It's like, as long as he fucking her for a long time, that's all that matters. This is some real 90s shit, y'all. In the 90s, everybody was obsessed with counting sex, how many times they had sex, or for instance, counting how long they can have sex. Okay. So he's just pumping. She looks bored. She looks like it's ready to be over. The kids are banging at the door trying to get in. The neighbor downstairs is hitting her broom on the ceiling because they're making all of this fucking noise up there, banging the headboard against the damn wall. Okay. So eventually Lisette just gets on top of him and finishes the job because ain't nobody got time for all that. She told him to finish. Okay. And you know, they went until it seemed as if they both came. But in all honesty, I was wondering if she came at all, if he came at all. Did anybody enjoy the sex? Were we only here for the performance for the niggas outside? Because that was one thing that I got from this. I'm like, so you're having sex with her for the niggas outside, not for her, but for their enjoyment, for their entertainment pleasure. That's weird. Let's continue. Okay. Lisette jumps on top to make him come, to which Chino responds, "You always gotta ruin it, Lisette." Outside, her son and daughter are fighting and they break Lisette's record player, which sends us into the catalyst for the story, right? So Maggie comes knocking. That's their little girl. She has the paper and she says that Chino's number almost hit. That's another thing. Okay. We are living in poverty. So the only way that we know how to, like, you know, make it big is to play the lotto. So he plays the same number over and over and over again every week, every week, every week. All right. They don't have any money like that. They barely making it. They scratching and surviving good times, but he has money to spend on a number. Okay. So flirting with him in Lisette's face, Magdalena. I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Not their daughter, Magdalena. I said Maggie. I meant Magdalena. My bad, y'all. Not the daughter. The daughter in the son was in there. The daughter's name is Minnie. My bad. That's why I got confused. The daughter's name is Minnie. And Magdalena, the side chick who wants Chino so bad because Chino's so fine, right? Chino's so fine. Chino's married. Chino, you know, loves Lisette and takes care of his family. Like, he looks like, you know, the family man, but the fine family man. You know, this is somebody that's gonna get married young. They love their wife, but they're whore. They're whore because they're good looking and they know it. And it's obnoxious because he's also stupid. He's full of himself. And it's really obnoxious. And it does come from a sense of, you know, knowing that he looks good. And so he doesn't have to really try, and just acting stupid and reckless a lot of the time. So Magdalena shows up to the door with the paper talking about how his number, you know, his number almost hit. And Lisette kind of stands in front of him with her arm up, and Chino is standing behind her. And she kind of plays it cool, like, oh, that's all right. You know, we appreciate that. Like, the fuck, what did you come into my door for? And the girl is flirting with Chino all in Lisette's face. Like, it is terrible, okay? She wants to escape to her sister's apartment downstairs. Her sister, aka her brother, which is Alex, aka Alexis, okay? But just to be clear, baby, Alexis is way more like sensual and sexual than Lisette is. Just saying, okay? So Chino promises that he's gonna buy her a stereo now that the kids have broken her record player. He makes a joke about her small boobs and tells her not to worry about Magdalena because Lisette has his heart. Then he tells her he wants her to cook. What we noticed throughout the movie several times is this pattern of Lisette needing something, wanting something, and Chino not being able to exactly provide it for her. But as long as he can woo her, he can make her smile, he compliments her, he tells her how much he loves her, and then he asks her for physical labor. Like that's usually the order in which the things happen. And um, because of that, it seems as if she's a young woman that's in a toxic relationship with a man, and as soon as he starts, oh baby, then she just forgets about everything, and it's like, okay, Chino, like we just kind of see that pattern happening over and over again until it no longer works. But that was definitely something he pulled on her, like, oh, you have my heart, so you don't have to worry about the big titty girl that I probably fucked that just showed up to our door disrespecting the dog shit out of you. You don't have to worry about her because you have my heart. Now, can you get in the kitchen and cook for me? That was wild. That was wild. Like, it was just real disrespectful. She says that she hates her life. And this is why we tell the girls not to be out here glorifying marriage and family at such a young age, thinking that it's an image of something that will put you on a pedestal and give you what do you call it? Social standing. When at the end of the day, no, girl, you being a wife did not mean a motherfucking thing to this man. He still was fucking that girl and everybody knew it. But she still had to find so much pride in that cheap little ring that he bought her. It was wild. Okay. Anyway, so she hates her life. And he says, how you gonna hate your life? I'm your life. It actually worked. They start making out, but then the kids ruin that. So she goes downstairs, escaping to Alexis' apartment, and she says that he's only going to put the stereo on layaway. That's what Alexis said. Girl, he's only gonna put the thing on layaway like he did everything else, like he did all of those other things he said he was gonna get you, the layaway king. And you need to go ahead and get it for yourself. Alexis is always pushing Lisette to believe in herself, to do for herself, not to constantly rely on Chino because he's always going to disappoint her. He has a pattern of disappointing her, right? So Alexis tells her that maybe she should get into modeling because the salon paid her $10 one time when she was a teenager to put her picture in the window. And I'm like, yeah, that's not a good enough reason to become a model. And everybody basically clowns her for this. And Chino helps them. Like, Chino brings this on the stoop to everybody. Magdalena, all of those stupid ass dudes he calls friends who really are low key jealous of him. So they clown him about every little thing. And so he tells them that she wants to become a model. And in one way, it's like he wants everybody to clown on her, but then also wants to be the one to pump her head up and be like, don't worry, baby, you could do it. Don't worry about all of them. Okay, you beautiful to me, and you don't need big tetas and all of this shit. But it's like he set her up for it. And the only person that really supports her is fucking Alexis. Okay. They laugh at her. Alexis affirms her, and Chino pulls her up and says his baby has the heart, but no tetas. And so he jokes again, and all of the men start laughing. Once again, poking fun at her small breasts. This is another reason why y'all see a lot of girls go and get these surgeries. And when we brought this shit up, when the shit happened with your boy from Wilding Out, and his old lady passed away, and everybody, not everybody, but a lot of us were discussing the way we felt as if he was picking at her body on all of those lives. He was picking at her on Instagram, and then she goes to get all of these surgeries done and ends up losing her life. And so nobody wants to admit that that's what happened, but here's the thing. The truth of it is that is what happened. And so what that should teach young women and people, period, is that people are going to talk shit, and maybe you should remove those people from your life instead of doing something that could possibly hurt you in the long run, like having surgeries that can kill you. Because what if she decided to go get a boob job and died on a table and left him to raise those 3 babies by himself? His mom, who doesn't like the fact that he's with a woman that is basically considered biracial, they don't consider it like that, but Lisette is biracial. Her dad is Jamaican and her mom is Puerto Rican. And so what that means is that she is half black, which means the kids have a kinkier texture of hair, which means the kids have bigger noses like she does. You know what I'm saying? Like her cheekbones, all of that reflect the fact that she has a Jamaican father. Chino's mom is 100% Puerto Rican and wanted him to be with 100% Puerto Rican like Magdalena or somebody, not, somebody who got, a white Latino daddy who owns a bodega down the block. That's what his mom wanted for him, not Lisette, who's half Jamaican and half Puerto Rican. So she's not going to want to raise those children. And on top of, if she had to help him, she did help him with the kids throughout the movie. And she was toxic as fuck. All she did was talk bad about their mom, talk bad about how they were raised, talk bad about their hair. The whole time she's helping, she's complaining about it. And I'm just like, y'all think that shit is cool. And y'all wonder why a lot of these Latin people, have terrible self-images and have a really hard time with their connection to someone of African descent. Like they have a really hard time with the fact that a lot of them are a conglomerate, a makeup of the indigenous people on the island, the colonizers who colonized them, and African slaves that were brought there in the slave trade. Like they have a really hard time with that, but it's obvious based on the way they look. Okay, it really be obvious based on the way they look, but they want, sit up here and act like, no, I ain't black, I Dominican. Like, oh God, it's not a nationality, sis. Anyway, so like I said, once again, he's poking fun at her small breasts. The boys in men's bodies burst into laughter, and Chino goes to play the numbers because he sees it as an investment in their future. He tells her it's smarter than modeling school. So once again, downing the idea of her doing modeling as a way to go and make some money. Now, that may not be the best idea for her, but it helped her. And she really needed to get a damn job. But for some reason, she wasn't listening to her parents, because I'm like, even though the parents were like, transphobic, homophobic assholes, who seem to be swept up in their own shit. And it kind of showcases a cycle of that. But they didn't want to work. Like, why don't you want to work, Lisette? You should have been had a fucking job. 3 kids in a house with a nigga that rides a bike and does messenger work for a living. You can't live off of just his paycheck when he's a messenger. That's wild for you to even think that. But she needed to get a job. Anyway, but she wasn't going to get a job until Chino was in jail, which lets me know that Chino did not want her to work. That's why he was trying to get everybody to clown anything she wanted to do, because that's not what he really wanted her to do. I think it's a part of his ego that his wife is at home with the kids versus actually working a job. I also feel like it keeps her below him. If Lisette goes out and works, then you find out how capable Lisette is in comparison to him that can only get a job, riding a fucking bike or being a security guard. Lisette can go and work a job that relies on her intellect. And you don't want her to do that, because then she'll make more money than you. Then she'll be around men that make more money than you. And maybe you being pretty won't be good enough anymore. So you got to keep her from ever getting above your station. She needs to consistently be enamored with the fact that you are the neighborhood heartthrob. Like that's the gist of it. So Lil Chino mimics his dad's sentiments, which is another thing that annoys me. I often feel like at the beginning of the movie, the kids kind of ganged up on Lisette. They love their dad. He's the fun parent, it seems, for the most part. And she's just kind of left out there to be the bad guy. She says that she doesn't even want to go to modeling school, but she wants to get her own stereo because she knows he's not going to get it. Both Chino and Lil Chino insist that he will get it, right? Then the lights on the street go out because, during the summer months in New York, a lot of the times, for some reason, they have blackouts where all the electricity goes out. And this will cause looting. So that's what happened. Chino decides to use this opportunity to go and steal a stereo for Lisette. She says, I bet you go out there and get busted. He said, Chino, don't get busted. 5 minutes later, we see this nigga in jail, screaming and hollering, crying, spitting at the glass. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Like going ham. Okay. And Lisette is sitting there like, Chino, oh my God. Like, I'm calm down, honey. I'm going to get you out. And then the girl that's sitting next to him is like, what's wrong with him? Nothing's wrong with him. That's how we laugh. Okay, baby, I got it. It was embarrassing as fuck. Okay. It was very, 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 very embarrassing. Okay. Um, outside of the jail, Alexis uh and Chino's homeboy Angel are waiting outside. And Angel is catcalling some woman who's going into the jail, but then turns around and gets mad and uncomfortable when Alexis does the same thing to a man. Like, that's nasty, yo. You need to stop. Why is it okay for you to chase women and make them feel uncomfortable and act uncouth like you've never seen a beautiful woman before whenever you encounter somebody you want to try to fuck? But Alexis does it and it's a problem. Do you not see how that's the issue? The same way you view Alexis doing it, that's the way women view you doing it to them. Like, stop it. Lisette comes out and tells them that Chino wants her to play his number. Alexis says, all you got is $5 and he wants you to use it on his number? Angel reminds her that he always plays that number, man. You better play Chino's number. The mentality of everybody is fucking retarded. I hate to say that word, but I don't know what other word. Just dumb, stupid, slow, all of that help, girl. I like a word with 2 syllables sometimes. Anyway, 3 syllables. Retarded. Yes, that is 3 syllables. The bail is $1,500. These people don't have $5 and the bail is $1,500. Angel apparently must have money because he doesn't have any kids. But Angel says no to giving her the money. And then Lisette asks, because he got to get his car out the shop. Nigga, you on what car? What car? In the Bronx. Anyway, it's the Bronx, right? Yeah, it's the Bronx. Anyway, so then another thing that I feel like this is showcasing how we need to check ourselves as women. Whenever Lisette gets upset or agitated or feels pushed into a corner or feels less than in some way, she makes transphobic comments towards Alexis. And Alexis is literally the only person that is always helping her and uplifting her. The only person that watches her kids for her. The only person that she can go and run to whenever she needs time and space and all of that. Like, it is crazy because she then turns to Alexis and asks Alexis, why don't you let me use the money that you saving to get your dick cut off? Why would you even say it like that? And Alexis says, no, I'm not using my surgery money for nobody. And she tells her to go to the modeling school, but she needs train fare for that. And all she has is $5. And Chino wants her to play his number. So they go to their parents' cart. And Alexis says, give them a picture of me so they can see how I look, because they haven't seen Alexis since Alex became Alexis and started to actually live as a woman. And the parents are extremely volatile about it. Like, the mom is like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. And so Alexis was like, oh, what picture should I show mommy? And you would think that Alexis was going to go and speak to her parents, but no, Lisette ends up taking a picture and is like, child, whatever one you want to get torn up, because that's exactly what happens. As soon as Lisette shows her mom a picture of Alexis, she rips it up. That's not my son. I don't know why you were putting this in my face. And then you could tell her anger is tied to her anxiety that her husband is going to respond to this. She looks scared of her husband, but then she'll also like hurry up and throw her kids under the bus, even though she looks as if she's scared of what his response is going to be, which tells me that even though we did not see it, the father must have been abusive towards the mother. Like, that's what that told me. But they have a cart where they sell food. And Alexis, says, mommy is so beautiful. Like I said, asked which picture she should show her and how Alexis looks now. Lisette says, whichever one you don't mind being ripped up. The mom rips it up and says that he better stop calling the house or his father is going to go over there and kick his ass. Lisette says that he just wanted you to see what he looks like now. And mom replies, all you people think about is what you want. Well, I'm sorry. I don't got what you want. $1,500, Lisette. And she was like, listen, I don't need the whole, $1,500 from y'all. Can I just get $250? And then here comes Poppy. And she was trying to keep this away from her dad because, Poppy is abusive and mean. Okay. And so Poppy walks up. What you want? You want money? And the daddy is kind of like laughing at the fact, that stupid Puerto Rican boy that you didn't had babies with and you married, that stupid Puerto Rican husband. You could tell that they don't think that Chino was a good decision for her either, because he doesn't seem like a good worker. He was childish, right? And you know them Jamaicans be having 15, 11 jobs, child. They don't respect that shit. You got one job, 3 kids, nigga. You need to be doing 15 jobs. You shouldn't even have time to be sitting on the steps talking to your stupid ass homeboys and flirting with Magdalena and shit. But either way, he comes over, he asks what she wants. Her mom says train fare. And Lisette asks, why you gotta tell him everything? And he says, what you mean why she gotta tell me? Because I care about her, she care about me. I was just like, I know that's right, child. Like, that is crazy that you thought she wasn't gonna tell her husband. Like, be fucking for real. But you can tell the reason why that happens is because when she was a child, secrets had to be kept from him in order for him not to also abuse the wife, I bet. Because I feel like I remember having that same type of energy sometimes. Like, don't tell daddy. And then, you know, there are moments where they won't tell your daddy in front of you anyway. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, you know, he about to act a fool. Like, why would you say something to him about that? My mama was a little bit better. My mama was a little bit better about that. Like, she didn't really, like, if we weren't telling my daddy something, we wasn't telling my daddy something. Like that's just how that would go. But then there were other times that I just kind of felt like she would flake on me sometimes. And that shit is so hurtful. And it's scary because everybody's scared of the papi in the situation. Like, everybody's nervous about what his response is going to be. But anyway, like I said, Papi then laughs about that crazy Puerto Rican husband of hers getting locked up. And he asks, what is she going to do? What's she going to do? Get on welfare? And he says that she doesn't want to work. And she was just trying to get money out of them. Like, she was just trying to get money out of them. I don't know why he feels like Lisette doesn't want to work. It seems like she may have wanted to work, but Chino didn't want her to work. Either way, the daddy just kind of, you know, laughs at him. Like, I'm not giving y'all no money. And honestly, thinking back on it, I'm low-key not upset at the father because that doesn't make any sense. Y'all are too poor for you to already not have a job. And you should have been thinking about that before you laid up and had 3 kids with this nigga. Like, and you know how a lot of Caribbean people and a lot of Black people do not want to be on anybody's welfare because the way it has been taught to us is that any type of aid from the country that kind of makes you poor in the first fucking place by making everything high and making you pay for everything, and especially things that should be free, like, I don't know, fucking water. Like, we shouldn't have to pay property taxes on our houses over and over again. Like, once I bought it and I own it, why am I continuing to have to pay somebody for this house to be on this land? That does not make any sense. Oh, Lord. Either way, y'all, I feel like essentially the system sets you up to fail. But the way we think about welfare is just an extension of white supremacy and white people making it seem as if a country taking care of its people is a bad thing. Like, girl, I hope y'all know that the reason why, you know, they don't like to help people in this country is because white people are convinced that the only people being helped by welfare are Black people and Latina people. So they don't want to pay for that. Even though it helps everybody, they don't want to pay for that. Even though everybody's paying taxes. Girl. Anyway, let's continue on. She walks off. She tries to pawn some of her jewelry, but most of it is dipped. And the only thing that is valuable is her wedding ring. She refused to sell it. Lisette asked why Alexis. So why doesn't child, let me get my mouth together. They were walking out the store and Lisette turns around and asks Alexis, why don't you sell your Botanica, you know, for her surgery? And she was like, listen, don't be trying to compare my Botanica to your marriage. If somebody steals from my store, I have insurance. If somebody steals your man, you got played. There's a big difference. And I appreciate Alexis for saying that, because why are you trying to compare my business to your marriage? Those are not the same things. Like, they're both businesses, but my business actually can be insured and yours cannot. Okay? Like, it's a difference. Lisette says, unlike Alexis, she has all the insurance she needs. Once again, pushing her womanhood and her coochie in Alexis's face whenever she, you know, feels inadequate. I'm trying to figure out how Alexis went and got a store and owns a store in a Botanica, and you don't have anything to make money. Like, it just shows Lisette was absolutely making terrible decisions. as a young woman, deciding to get married to Chino and have 3 kids with no job, living in the projects, talking about I hate my life. Yeah, duh. Um, then Lisette says that she's focusing on the physical because Lisette threw the womanhood in her face. Alexis was like, please, it's not even like you that fine, Miss Thing. It's not even like you out here getting all of the niggas with your femininity. So chill out. And then Lisette says, well, she's focusing on the physical when what her and Chino have is on a spiritual level. I'm like, girl, keep moving the goalposts all you want to. That nigga's in jail. Okay. Alexis says, Mita, Oprah, I do for myself. I don't need nothing from nobody. Okay. I don't need nothing from nobody. You the one that's going around begging and asking everybody for shit because your stupid ass husband went and got locked up over a stereo. Meanwhile, Lil Chino is stealing from the bodega that Magdalena's father owns and being bullied by 3 badass neighborhood kids who laugh at him because his father is in jail. Meanwhile, we haven't even seen that they have fathers. They daddies might be them other dumbass niggas that's running around the neighborhood acting like teenagers in grown men's bodies. The kid tells him if he wants to make some money, some real money, stop stealing toys and holler at him. So now who's only 8, is being pressured by other neighborhood kids to sell drugs. Now imagine a world where if this community was actually healthy, the men that are always sitting on stoops and laughing at Lisette will also be doing something about the young men who are younger than them in the community that are selling drugs. Like the older generation is doing nothing, sitting outside like bums, laughing like fools. Meanwhile, the ones that are younger than them, their children are outside in Jabot jeans and polos and Jordan sneakers selling drugs. Like, it's wild to me how they can have this community where everybody's in everybody's business and y'all can tell Lisette what to do in her household and talk to Chino about who he needs to be with, but y'all can't handle the kids that are running amok in the neighborhood. That shit was crazy. You went to school with one of them boys? That's wild. Oh shit. Was he cute? All right. Anyway, so Lisette goes to play Chino's number, and the owner, Mr. Soto, Magdalena's father, tells her that she owes him $350 because Lil Chino stole another toy. Chino's mom is supposed to be watching the kids. She's pretty and well put together, like, a lot of those old 60s, Latina house moms that are fashioning themselves behind white women they saw. She has no control over the kids. So all she can do is scream about how Lisette doesn't have control over the kids and they aren't raising them right. The kids are screaming, where's my father? Where's my father? Because they've definitely heard from the neighborhood kids that their dad got arrested. And this is another thing. It doesn't make any sense to hide the truth from your kids when everybody's going to be telling them. Like, just tell them at home. As soon as he got arrested, y'all should have told y'all kids. But y'all know how everybody like to think, oh, they're too young. They're not too young. They were sitting outside the door when y'all was fucking. They're not too young. C throws a glass candle at the wall and breaks it. She was trying to light a candle to pray. And while she's praying, eyes closed, C picks the candle up and throws it against the wall. I was just like, yeah, these kids are wilding. She screams, he's in jail. And then she runs to escape into the bathroom, which is something she often does. Now, Abuela is screaming at the door that she's embarrassing her son in front of his kids because she's jealous of her son. Ma'am, what did you want her to do? What did you want her to say? They're screaming at her, asking where he is. He shouldn't have got his ass locked up. See how we be talking about this whole image thing? That's exactly what she was talking about. You don't want to deal with the truth of the matter because it's embarrassing for you. Obviously, you didn't raise Chino right. Like that's what we're seeing here, ma'am. You didn't raise Chino right, probably because you babied the shit out of him. So she leaves. And the kids keep screaming and beating on the door. Where's my father? Where's my father? The lady downstairs starts beating on the ceiling again. And Lisette is inside the bathroom hiding with the radio playing, smoking a cigarette and trying to tune them out while she counts the quarters, nickels, and dimes that she has left. But she can't And so she starts banging the broom on the wall, on the ground, and singing real loud this song by Mark Anthony that go real hard. I love Mark Anthony's voice. And then, she starts dancing and she kind of like loses it for a second while she's in this bathroom until she can calm down. She comes out the bathroom and she tells them that their father is in jail and she doesn't know when he's coming out. C starts to leave, but she wants the car that he stole from Mr. Soto. He tells her no, and then she threatens to beat him with a belt, but that obviously was not her role in their family. So C doesn't really believe her and also says that you can't beat me because daddy got arrested with the only belt that we have in this house. I was just like, God damn, y'all only have one belt? Like, that's depressing. Lil Chino says that he's not scared of Poppy and he's not scared of her. She asks if she hits him, will he stop stealing? And he says, I don't know. He's obviously doing all of this for attention. I think that both Lisette and Chino as adults in this situation are so wrapped up in their own bullshit and their own like immaturity and how they don't handle their lives responsibly. Like, they really don't really be thinking about their kids like that. They do, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? I do think they love their kids. They do care about them, but they really don't think about them the way adults should think about children. They really act like two big ass kids themselves, just trying to figure out how to take care of two younger kids. Okay. Lisette asks why she has to treat him like a baby and tells him if he acts like a man, she would treat him like one. He's 8. And that's what we be saying. Like, that's a problematic mindset. You think trying to teach this kid to have maturity, but they're not a man. And the responsibility of the household should not be on them because they're 8. And they have an 8-year-old little person's brain and an 8-year-old little person's body. And they can't protect themselves from grown ass people that might just want to pick them up and fucking throw them. So a lot of the times I feel like the way they made these kids responsible for themselves is annoying as fuck to me. She says if he's going to be stealing and shit, that he's not going to be a man in her eyes. And he says, and he tells her, well, Poppy stole that stereo. You saying he not a man? She falls to the ground. She says, I need your father, see. I need your help, okay? Can you just grow up for a minute and help me out? And so he gives her the truck for her to give back to Mr. Soto. So she don't owe the grocery store $3.50 because she got to go there and get eggs, milk, and fucking diapers. And if it wasn't for WIC, if it wasn't for welfare, she wouldn't have any money for food. Isn't that crazy? Her parents own a fucking cart where they sell food. And that girl did not have any help from them people because they were trying to punish her because they don't like the fact that she chose to marry and have children with Chino. So they're punishing her. So they won't help her. And don't forget about the fact that they're also punishing Alexis and acting like she doesn't exist because she's trans. Disassociating and completely ignoring your children is not the answer to me, because I think it's callous and I think it's fucked up. However, if your kids are like abusing you, I get it. But I feel like they were the abusive parents that now have decided that because their children are grown, they no longer want to have to deal with them. You don't want to have to deal with their feelings about how you raised them. And so now you just kind of keep them on the outside looking in. So anyway, in preparation for the modeling interview, Alexis gives Lisette her tetas, her fake, really good, latex type of tetas, and teaches her how to walk. And Alexis empowers her. And that was another thing, like the fact that Alexis as a trans woman is the only person that is consistently in her corner and boosting her self-esteem as a woman. Yeah, you got a coochie, but at the end of the day, it's Alexis that teaches you how to walk around confidently in that coochie. You know what I'm saying? And that's sad, but that's the situation. That's the situation. Yo soy una modela. That's what they were saying. So she goes to the Black, Latina, and Philippines modeling agency and gets laughed at immediately because the tetas are askew. Okay. It seems they are charging for the application as well as new photos. So it looks like a scam. Lisette says that she wants her train fare that she used to come up to this fucked up place. It's a scam. And then a lady who walked up next to her says, listen, I'm not trying to be a model. I'm trying to hire a model. And so the assistant changes her tone with her and invites her inside of an office. Lisette goes outside on a fire escape to hear what they're talking about. And a woman is is looking for somebody for her boss to take on a date with the Mendez brothers. And the Mendez brothers are basically two of the dudes from the Barrio Boys, which was like a popular kind of crossover Latino group back in the 90s. They were cute. Okay. So she knows who they are. And she sees the girl on the elevator and shoots her shot and gets the job. So Poppy's number came up, but Lisette didn't play it because she used it to go and try to do the modeling school thing. But the number would have won them $6,000, bro. $6,000. And I know she felt, y'all, that was so fucking aggravating, right? Because it was irresponsible for him to be playing that number all of those years. And think about how much money he could have saved if he had been saving the money that he was spending to play the number. Like, I think when people do that, anytime you go and put money on a number, you need to put money in a savings account. And if you can't do both, then you can't gamble. That's how I feel. But she didn't play the number. The number hit. They lost out on $6,000. So now you know Chino's pissed off, right? She is getting paid $400 for this dinner with the Mendez brothers. Chino tells her that she's not going anywhere with the Mendez brothers, and she doesn't think about the money. He does. He will just stay there until trial. She asks, how is he going to put food on the table while he's locked up? He tells her to get on welfare. She says, no, my mother didn't raise no welfare kids. He says he can't take her going out with no other guys. He'll go crazy. I'll go crazy in here and think about you with another man. And see, that's why y'all need to get y'all minds together. That's why y'all need to snap yourselves out of that socialization, that if a person is not belonging to you like an item, you're going to lose your mind. Like, I just saw a story the other day about this man who killed his wife and himself because she cheated on him. And I was just kind of like, I mean, I don't know if she really cheated on him because niggas be lying and shit. But ultimately, the people in the comments acting like that was a reasonable response. Well, I guess you shouldn't cheat. And that's why you shouldn't cheat on people. I'm like, cheating is not equivalent to you thinking it's okay to kill a person. Y'all are out of y'all mind. Y'all are all out of y'all mind. And none of y'all are faithful enough for y'all to be online talking that shit. That's another thing that killed me. The amount of people that were saying that shit, you would think that every single person that was saying that shit in them comments has been faithful. And you know, based on how the world works, that is probably a lie. Anyway, so he'll go crazy. She asked him if something is going on with him and Magdalena. People are saying shit. And he says, oh, so you going out with those guys to spite me? She says, no, I just don't want to be left with nothing. He tells her the ring on her finger is all the insurance that she will need from him. And he kisses her hand. Now, mind you, that's not insurance. The ring is not insurance. The only thing the ring is $30 that you could have used to play that fucking number and also go and get on the train and try to see about that job. So Lisette gets the welfare. She gets the WIC and goes to Mr. Soto with, the food stamps. He reminds her that she can't buy diapers and soap with the welfare. She really needs the diapers, she says. And Mr. Soto, that's actually a nice man, wants to help her. But here comes stupid ass fucking Magdalena, who's mad because Chino doesn't want her. At least not like that. He'll fuck her, but he don't really want to be with her. So she's jealous of Lisette. So she comes up behind Lisette and tells her dad not to help her. And that really she needs to call the police on her ass for trying to use the stamps to buy other shit. And it was just really fucked up. And it was really fucked up. She started going in on how this is her store. And if she tells her to step off, then she better step off or she'll call the police and have them haul her ass up out of there. And then she starts to fix stuff, to showcase it's her store. Mr. Soto then comes from around the register and stands in between them, gathers the groceries and hands everything to Lisette At this point, Lisette tells Magdalena, and just like this store is yours, my husband's dick is mine. So stay the fuck away from my husband, ho. Okay, how many times we got to have this conversation? Okay. And she says, if you don't stop coming for me, I'm going to snatch that wig off your fucking head. Child, Mr. Soto gave her the diapers, the cigarettes, everything she was trying to get. Here, just take it, Lisette. Just take it and go home. And it's like, that girl is such an asshole. Like, just such an asshole. Lisette goes home and runs back into the bathroom. That's her escape. She's pissed and throws the wedding ring because this is like the second or third time that Magdalena has felt that she can come step to this woman about her man. That shit is wild. So C comes in and tells her that he can make some money working for David, being a lookout. He ain't even got to touch no drugs. And she tells him no. He didn't like Magdalena calling her welfare names. And Lisette tells him not to worry, she will handle it, but not to have her worrying about him. Her kids are hungry, so she pawns the ring. Like, this is the situation that this girl is in at this moment, right? And I'm struggling, you're in jail, and now I got a bitch that you was cheating on me with that hates me, rolling up on me, trying to stop me from getting help at the goddamn grocery store. Y'all, when I tell you Chino need his ass beat, Chino need his ass beat. Lisette shows up for the dinner with the Mendez brothers, and the obnoxious boss, Price, doesn't think Lisette is the type of woman that he was looking for. But Lisette isn't taking no for an answer. So he tried to give her some money and send her on her way. And then he sits back down at the table with the Mendez brothers who were looking for her because she fit the type of girl that is an around the way type of girl for them. Like, they know this type of girl. It actually worked perfect because the Mendez brothers liked Lisette. Lisette came back to that table after Price acted like she had stomach problems. And she was like, no, I'm okay. I'm all right. And Price, because he doesn't have any ideas for the Mendez brothers, had sole ideas through his assistant. He didn't even know who she was, but just assumed that he was going to be able to tell the Mendez brothers that his assistant is a big fan of them and she has all these ideas. Lucky for him, this was true about Lisette. She did know a lot about him. I'm guessing the other girl who was the go-between, his actual real assistant, is the one that told him Lisette knew everything about them. So she shows up. He tries to send her away. She sits back down and then she starts to run it. And she basically tells one of the brothers that he needs to get his teeth fixed because it keeps him from smiling and it makes him look angry. And he was like, I got an image. I can't get no braces, man. And she was like, nah, listen, my sister Alexis, Aki, got the braces behind her teeth. No one ever knows. Okay. And so now she done told them something that they didn't know. And one of the brothers was like, man, this girl is smart, bro. You need to listen to her, man. So Price tried to shit on her, but she gave them all of the ideas that they needed. Like, this white man doesn't know anything about these people's culture like that, but he is tasked with working with them in the music business. And so he's basically going to spend the rest of this movie using Lisette and trying to play her like a soybean burger bitch. It's really, really annoying. Ricky says, I'm sorry, I said that part. Tony says that she's smart and they need to listen to her. Val told Lisette if she did a good job, there could be a job in it for her. And since she helped him sign the Mendez brothers, she asked for that job. And Price tell her that there is no job. And then he told the Mendez brothers he was going to drive her home to the Bronx. But then when she gets in his car, he's like, no, here's some more money. He was very disrespectful and continuously just tried to throw money at her to get her away from him like a homeless person or something. And she was like, she kept taking the money. And then she was like, no. Okay, you're going to take me home, or I'm going to call them and tell them that it was fake and you didn't bring me home. And, she had his number. He took the number out her hand and she said, I already remember, I already memorized it. And then she told him the number and then he got his stupid ass in the car. So he gets in the car, he's driving reckless, he's flirting with her, obnoxiously so. And then he goes to play a tape. And she tells him that artist is fake. His whole band is just singing over his track. He does all of the work. Don't worry about them. They aren't a good group. She saw them play in the hood before, right? So he throws the tape out his car. So now she's proven herself to be even more valuable because she made it so that he did not have to waste his time. She drops him. He drops her off in the Bronx. Magdalena and Angel are sitting outside on a car talking. and they see her get out the car, and Price says, listen, you want a job? He hands her his card. Come down there to, the job tomorrow at 9. We'll work something out. So now she got a job. All she did was talk to that man for 5 minutes, and she was standing outside the car most of the time. I don't know how or why. I think it was really Magdalena, but this then gets put out to the neighborhood that Lisette was fucking some dude in a Lamborghini at 4:00 in the morning. Wow. Wow. So now the whole neighborhood that obviously has nothing else to do is going to commence to slut shaming Lisette while Chino is still in jail. So now Chino's in jail going crazy. His homeboys come in there talking about Chino Cabron and all of this shit. So now they're putting pressure on him for him to say that Magdalena's baby Richie is his, because Magdalena is for the neighborhood. And so nobody knows who the baby daddy is. But Mr. Soto will bail Chino out of jail and give him a job if he claims Magdalena's baby. The fact that people will do anything to have a man in the situation is crazy. Like, I think Mr. Soto was doing that because he felt like they were good people. But essentially, that's fucking stupid. Like, why would you bail out a random nigga just so your grandchild can have a deadbeat for a father? Because you don't know if he really gonna be there or not. Why you gotta do all of that in order for him to claim the baby in the first place? Like, it was very, very stupid. Chino's mom comes to see him in jail. She says Magdalena said that her baby is his, and if he gives the baby his name, Mr. Soto will bail him out of jail, give him a job. He says it's not his baby, and if he does that, Lisette will be pissed. But his mother reminds him that he's in jail and it's embarrassing. And she says, I wish I would have died when your brother was murdered, because, if parents don't know how to do nothing in order to force you to do something you don't want to do, they're going to guilt and shame you. And Chino's brother was a police officer that was killed in a shootout with some drug dealers. And so that is consistently used as a trauma point in this movie. There's even a mural of him on the wall in the neighborhood. So he says I fucked up my life. Okay, I fucked up my life, and there's nothing I can do about it. People that adopt that mindset, like I myself have that issue, like you kind of go off the deep end and go to the worst case scenario. Now, eventually I work myself back, but I do have my moments of fuck it. You know what I'm saying? It's all fucked. You know what I mean? So she tells him to compare his two families, y'all. And this was such a fucked up moment to me, because I was like, as the grandmother to those children, it just showcases how a lot of y'all don't give a fuck about y'all family. If they don't fit into a box for you, you don't care about your family, but you love to act like being family matters so much. But it really only matters when it's something that you can use. But it doesn't really matter, because why the fuck would you tell him that one family take, and another family, cute little boy, Magdalena is beautiful, her father is going to be opening a new bodega. So you want him, let's be very clear. You as his mom, the grandmother to those children, you want him to leave his wife and his 3 children destitute so that he can go be a pretend daddy to somebody else's kid just so that he could work at a bodega? Chino's mama ain't shit. It's basically what we're saying. The parents ain't shit, and so then the kids become ain't shit. That's the cycle we're seeing here. Okay. But he tells her he loves Lisette. I love Lisette, bruh. Lisette gets her job. She puts up pics of the kids in Chino as she calls her mom to tell her that she got a job in a cubicle. Then Alexis shows up with the kids looking for her tetas. Because, bitch, I gave them to you for the dinner, not for you to keep. Lisette has the nerve to call Alexis selfish for wanting her tetas back. And Alexis is like, how am I selfish? They're mine. You know what I'm saying? The fuck? Alexis asks Price, who, Price comes over. And so, now she's like, oh, he's fine. He's fine. He's not that fine, but I guess so, child. Okay. Alexis asked Price if he sees anything different about Lisette, trying to draw attention to the fact that her tetas are gone. But he just noticed the fact that she was wearing her natural hair and she wasn't wearing the fake ponytail that she had in the night they went to the dinner. he says that he likes it and she blushes. And then her daughter is like, Mommy, you like that white man? And she was like, no, Minnie. Okay, I love your father, Chino. Okay, your papi. He's the only one I love. And child Alexis said, you need to leave Chino's ass in jail and go for yours. This nigga got a Lamborghini, bitch. uh, and it's so funny. You hear Alexis say that so many times throughout the movie. Fuck that. Go for yours. Go for yours. Go for yours. And it's funny because it is the same mentality that Alexis parents have. Like, fuck everybody else. Do what you want to do. It doesn't matter if you being mean and shunning your kids and being homophobic, transphobic harms them. It doesn't matter. You just say fuck them and act like they don't exist. Go for yours. Like, that's the mentality. The reason why Alexis keeps saying that is because that is the way Alexis has had to learn to live her life because of the way her parents have responded to her being trans. And so that's the advice that she gives to Lisette, which isn't really good advice. And she's not gonna really, contradict herself until a little bit later. Okay. So Chino's homeboys, like I told y'all, go to the jail, tell him everything about Lisette in a Lamborghini at 4:00 in the morning, fucking a white man, whatever. So now he's going to go ahead and get out of jail and be the father to Richie, Magdalena's baby. Okay. So also during that scene, Elvis's character is so obnoxious to the point that I think that Elvis character is jealous of Chino. That's supposed to be his friend, but it comes off like you're jealous of Chino, and so you're always trying to sabotage Chino in some type of way. Then also calling him a bitch whenever he gets emotional about these things you've come to him with, which you knew would upset him. You knew the shit would upset him, but because he gets emotional about it, you now want to start calling him a cabron and calling him a punk. Now everybody's been fucking Magdalena in front of Lisette's face. That's not a problem. But as soon as y'all think Lisette did something, now you're trying to force him to be violent towards his wife. Yeah, y'all. I don't know if y'all peeped that, but there's literally a moment when Lisette comes home from work and sees Chino sitting on the steps with Magdalena and Richie in his lap and all of that. And she's just like, what you doing here? Like, come down here. And this is when the whole neighborhood decides to try to hold Lisette accountable for fucking some man in a Lamborghini at 4:00 in the morning. And Angel was like, man, I ain't even really say that shit like that. But Elvis's character says, we saw her fucking a nigga in a Lamborghini at 4:00 in the morning. Man, beat her ass. Like, what? Chino walks down the stairs and takes Lisette to the side and asks her about it. And she was like, that was my boss. He was dropping me off from work. We had a dinner. I got the job so I could bail your ass out of jail. It's all about you, Poppy. Like, the fuck? Like, she tells him this in front of everybody who's watching. And as soon as he starts to believe it, then everybody starts to scream in his ear. And here come Magdalena putting Richie in his arms, talking about, kiss Poppy, but goodbye. We gotta go. And Lisette said, Poppy, you look me in the face right now and tell me that's your kid. And Magdalena jumps in front. Okay, Magdalena jumps in front, start talking about, yes, that's his kid, and I got your man. And she tries to kiss him. And child, when I tell you the way they was chasing each other around the fucking car, Mr. Soto, you better come get your daughter before she get an ass whip out here. Like, oh my God. Hold up. So Magdalena, hold up. So wait, Chino says that baby could be anybody's. And Lisette was like, anybody's, including yours? And Magdalena says, yes, including him. I got the face, I got the body, and now I got your man. And then she goes to kiss him. It was very Jerry Springer. And all of the niggas in the background is, like, it's so immature and stupid. So Lisette pushes her and says that her ring means that she's his wife and she's just his hoe. Magdalena says the only thing that cheap ass ring means is that Chino paid entirely too much money to fuck you. I said, oh my God. Lisette tries to go after her, and Chino tries to hold Lisette back. But Chino's mom comes and grabs him as to like get him to not try to stop his wife from fighting. Y'all, when I tell y'all, Chino's mom pisses me the fuck off. Like, she pisses me off so bad. Like, that's the type of mom I wouldn't deal with. Like, I wouldn't be around her. I would not deal with her. Anyway, like, cause what are you doing? Lisette says, you know what? You can have him. She just looks around and is just like, you know what? Fuck this shit. She says, Magdalena, you want him, you can have him. She takes her ring off, she throws it, and Chino runs behind her, but she tells him, get the fuck off her. She says, I got a life. None of you bums got a fucking life. I got a job. Now she finally has something that makes her feel good about herself. Mind you, her boss is a misogynistic asshole that keeps telling her that she did not advertise herself correctly because she wasn't wearing her ring. It's none of your fucking business why she wasn't wearing her ring. She was never available to you just because she didn't have a ring on. It was always still going to be her choice. The fuck is wrong? Anyway, Lisette goes to Pablo's show because Pablo is one of the artists that Lisette has been helping Price, fashion his image, and they don't know how to dress the boy. They didn't know what to do at the photo shoot that they did that day. So she had to come in and basically turn herself into a creative director. Definitely should have been getting paid more money than just an assistant's pay for some of the shit she was in there doing. It's crazy. You basically work as an assistant to do the job that the white man is being paid to do. But he doesn't really know how to do it that well. And if he doesn't have other people to steal from, how's he going to get the job done? Like, he can make the phone calls and broker the deals, but essentially what we saw was Price consistently not knowing what to do with these Latin artists and relying on Lisette for her style and creative choices. So Pablo goes on stage, and once again, Price makes another comment about her ring, and she tosses her champagne in his face and tells him fuck him. And it was like an automatic reaction to him consistently bringing up why she's not wearing a ring and if she's really married and all of this shit. And she apologized and says it's not about him, and she's on the verge of tears, and he was really pissed at first, but then when he sees that she's about to cry, he sees it's an opportunity to use her pain in order to manipulate her into fucking. Honestly, every time Price is on the screen, it's low-key irking me because you can just tell that he was consistently like being creepy and wanting to fuck her and using every light moment or every moment where they could laugh, joke, any moment that was a nicety, he was using it as a way to try to have sex with her. And it was extremely annoying to me. And so he's like trying to touch her hair and she's like moving him away. And then he's finding a way to be fucking like, feeling played, basically. He's finding a way to be defensive about the fact that she's like, don't touch me. That's the weirdest shit to me. When people like cross your boundaries and you tell them stop, no, push them away, and then they act like you did something wrong. That's what he was doing. He was really being predatory. And that's another thing that this brings into light, how you are poor and desperate for a job that's going to pay you above a couple of cents an hour. And you have to deal with a boss that knows this and that feels like his assistants are women that he has his choice of harassing. Like, child. Chino is now in Angel's basement apartment. Angel has a $30 bottle of wine, plants, and candles and shit. I'm like, it's crazy to me how good Angel seems to be living, even though he acts like he doesn't have his life together at all. I think he pretends to be dumb and he does a lot of sneaky shit on the low. And he acts like an imbecile in front of everybody else, but he seems to be handling his own private life much better. Like, that's what it seems like to me. Because how do you have a $30 bottle of wine? Like, y'all don't have any money in this neighborhood, and he literally sits a cactus and a $30 bottle of wine in Chino's hands to take to Lisette so he can get back into her house and out of his basement apartment. It doesn't work. She asks if he has something to say, and the baby cries, and so he goes back into the baby's room, and she tells him to leave the baby and get out. When she's putting him out, their little girl Minnie comes crying, talking about, I just had a bad dream that you left, Poppy, and you never came back. And he picks her up and says, that's okay. I would never leave you. Like really being manipulative, getting the kids involved, trying to use the kids to guilt and shame Lisette into letting him stay. Then he tells her, Mommy wants me to leave forever and ever. And it's like, why are you making it harder on her? She's still the one that's primarily responsible for them kids, and you still making it hard on her as it pertains to them. Like whenever people try to turn their kids on the other like parent, especially when that parent does not deserve it, that shit works on my fucking nerves. Like, don't do that. Don't try to manipulate the kids' minds like that against their parent. Like, that was just terrible to me that he consistently did that during this argument. He goes around telling her everything is his and he's not leaving, and she tries to put him out, but he ends up picking her up and tossing her back into the bathroom. C tries to help his mama, so Chino throws C in the bathroom with her, and something she used to escape has now become a prison. C tells her to calm down, and she tells him, I'm an adult. I don't have to calm down, C. And C says, well, you're not acting like one. And he's right. But they haven't been acting like adults this entire time. She and Chino are screaming through the door, and he says that he never meant to hurt her, but maybe he fucked Magdalena because he wasn't getting what he needed at home. Y'all, when I tell y'all these niggas use the same script over and over and over again, because I know y'all thought about Martell. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. It's not. It might be a reason, but I think it's a bullshit reason. You didn't fuck Magdalena because you weren't getting fucked by Lisette. You was fucking Lisette for 89 minutes, my nigga, at the beginning of the movie. You were getting sex. The fuck? And also, Magdalena is on baby number 1. Richie is like, what, 1-2 years old or some shit like that? She just now getting a baby. Lisette has 3, all 8 and under. And a brand new baby that might be the same age as Richie's baby. I mean, as Richie. So I'm like, she got a young baby too, my nigga. Like, that's wild the way he went and cheated on that lady with Magdalena. She asked, what wasn't he getting? What weren't you getting, Chino? He said, maybe if he wasn't hearing hurry up and finish. And she said, maybe if you did it right, I wouldn't want you to finish. He tells her that I make crazy, stupid love, and you just don't know how to make love to a man. No, you don't know how to fuck. You think fucking for a long time mean you did something. You don't know what actually makes her feel good, which means your sex is trash. Okay, talking about I make crazy, stupid love. Nigga, please. He tells, like, you can tell his delusions are all he can, like, live in. He lives in his own delusions. Whatever lies his mom has told him about himself, he now tells lies about himself. Okay? So he tells her that he and Magdalena are over, and then he pulls C into it, asking if he wants his mommy and daddy together, which of course he does, but it's not up to the kids. Chino puts her ring under the door, and C picks it up and gives it to her. She pretends to be calm and knocks him in the face when he opens the door with a plunger. And then she runs down to Alexis's place, and Chino is beating on the door, and Alexis says Lisette isn't a sexual person, and she starts screaming, she is a sexual person, and all of this shit, and I make more money than him, and I don't need him. And so he gets Minnie and asks C if he's going to come upstairs with him, and C just sits on the stairs. And so he takes Minnie and goes back upstairs. So now Chino's in the apartment with the kids by himself, and Lisette has ran downstairs to Alexis' apartment. Well, she will stay for a while and basically run away from her responsibilities the way he did when he was in jail. The next morning, he and his mother have to battle with the children without Lisette. Chino's mom said that she doesn't know anything about combing nappy heads. Fucking kids do not have nappy hair, but they have thicker, coarser hair. But it's not nappy hair. But you see, like, just those little small things that you hear from people, this creates the racism. It creates the prejudices that Latino have against Black people, that are in their own families. Like, these are her grandchildren, and it's how she's talking to them. But it ain't no different. Black people do the same thing, do the same stupid shit. Nobody in her family had nappy heads, pure Castilian blood. C won't put on his clothes, obviously mad that his mom is not there. Like, my dad is back, but my mom isn't, so he's acting out. Abuela says that his mother may send him to school in dirty clothes, but she doesn't. C screams, no, she doesn't send me to school in dirty clothes. Because, like, at this point, we tired of you talking shit about our mom when really we want you to leave and we want her to come back. C insists that he's a man. Chino tells him to put his clothes on and turn the TV off. C ignores him and then turns the TV back on. Chino hits him with the belt and C tells him that he's not a man. You only hitting me with that belt because I'm littler than you. And then his sister Minnie defends him and says, that's right, Poppy. You said if you pick on somebody smaller than you, that you're not a man. Fucking kids is bad, but they listen to everything you say. That's why you can't just give them bullshit answers to everything. Chino says, you right. You a man. You don't need nothing, right? So then he starts to take off all of C's clothes. I mean, C is ass naked, and he puts him outside of the apartment into the hallway with no clothes on. And C eventually just stands there covering up his private parts. And this is when you see how small his body is. This little boy acted his ass off. I want to say that as well. But C looks like a baby in this. Like, he's 8, y'all. Like 6 is a toddler. Like six is still very young to me. 8 is not that old, y'all. An 8-year-old is still a kid. It's still a baby to me. And the way he was standing there with no clothes on, it just was a very hard moment to watch. And this is the moment you realize that everybody's abusing their kids. Everybody's abusing their kids. So he knocks on the door and Chino lets him back and he says, oh, so you're not a man, right? So until you can put your own clothes and shoes on your own fucking body that you pay for, you're not a man. So come inside, put these fucking clothes and shoes on so you can go to school. Stop playing with me. Okay. But this is another message that you should not have sent to him, because now he thinks when he goes and gets his own money as a man and puts on clothes he got from selling drugs, that he's a man and you're supposed to respect him. Y'all are sending a whole bunch of mixed signals to these kids instead of just sitting down with them and talking to them and shit. Like, have conversations. But what you notice is that a lot of times people feel like their children are not deserving of explanations. You don't think that they can understand. Like, the fuck? Like, C's about to go sell drugs, okay? Like, he is tired of y'all not being consistent with what y'all are talking about, but also not being consistent in being there for him. Lisette decides to fuck her boss under his desk. And I think it wasn't that she was really into him, but I think she did this because Chino was the only man she'd ever been with, and Chino cheated on her. So she went and had boring, unpassionate, unserious sex with her boss while he was on the phone with somebody. Magdalena, meanwhile, can't get Chino's dick hard, so she brings in a rooster to try to break Lisette's spell, and it's like, it's not gonna work. He could fuck you when he knew he could go home to his wife. Now that he and his wife are not together, his heart is broken, and now his dick won't work. That shit was hilarious when she pulled that rooster and put that shit under the covers and was like, it's okay, Poppy. And then he realized it was a rooster under the covers with his raw dick out. Child, that shit was hilarious. So yeah, it was all bad. They're having bad sexual experiences with people as a way to try to get over or to, get revenge on one another. So at the store, at Mr. Soda store, Chino's homeboys are clowning him for giving Magdalena's baby his name when everybody knows that Magdalena is a hoe. Nigga said the baby should be named after the street that they live on. Chino tells them that they think a baby is the worst thing a bitch can give you, but it's the best thing. Everything else that they give you is bullshit. Magdalena hears this and comes out with her hands on her hips. And eventually she tells Mr. Soto that Chino isn't Richie's father. She lied because she wanted him to have a dad he could be proud of. The real father is Angel's bitch ass. Angel knew that was his kid too, and he let his homeboy take the fall. That shit was wild. So Chino is feeding Minnie and the youngest baby some ice cream. And C comes over and he tries to feed him some. And C like, nah, I'm good. I'll get my own ice cream. I got my own money. He like, all right, well, where's your hug? What's Pop? Hug your Poppy. And he didn't want to hug him, but eventually he hugged him. David and them other little niggas are over there hating on him and joking and, oh, look at him hugging his dad. And it's like, yeah, y'all clowning him, but where are y'all dads? They were actually jealous of C. They made fun of C because C's parents were together, because C was still like a little kid, but they couldn't be kids because where the fuck were their parents? You never saw them niggas with their parents. Okay. So this is when Minnie brings attention to the fact that C has on new kicks and new jeans, all new clothes. So Chino looks at him, then he's by the ice cream truck talking to them little dudes, and he goes over to him. He was like, "Where'd you get the money for all of this new shit? Like, where'd you get all of this new clothes and shit?" Completely flips out. Chino pushes David off of C, asks C where he got the clothes from. He takes all of it off of C on this like sofa that's abandoned out in the middle of the street, and he just beats him with a belt. He whips him out there in the neighborhood with everybody watching. It was humiliating. And then he tells him that he's not going to be a drug dealer, pushes him up against the wall that has the mural on. He was like, "You see what happened to your uncle? You're not going to be a drug dealer." C runs, but he catches him and pushes him against the wall where the memorial is painted, like I said. And Alexis comes running over to stop him. Chino, please stop, please. He's just a little boy, Chino. Please let him down. And so Chino eventually lets him down, and Alexis, gets him and, removes him from the scene. And then David starts laughing at at C. You got whipped by your dad. So Chino turns around and takes David and whips his ass. David tries to pull out a gun, and Chino hit the gun with a fucking belt. And I'm like, see, this is what y'all niggas should have been doing in this neighborhood. All of y'all niggas. And I remember his other homeboys came and helped him, grab David and whip him. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me y'all been knowing these little niggas been wrecking havoc in the neighborhood and did nothing until Chino decided he wanted to beat some ass in the neighborhood? And it seems as if y'all only did it because y'all enjoy wrecking havoc and being a part of some bullshit. Not because it was the right thing to do, but because Chino was whipping ass. So now y'all want to help and beat David's ass. And everybody was all here for that because David's a little badass. But David eventually burst into tears because David is still somebody's kid too. David can't be no older than 14. And David says, you're not my father, man. You're not my father, man. You can't hit me because you're not my father, man. And Chino stops and looks at him and hears him crying and feels bad and is pissed. And it was just this crazy scene, y'all. It was a crazy scene. So Alexis brings Lisette to C, who is dressed in only a shirt, holding his knees to his chest under the steps, looking like a little baby. And she tells him that he's not going to get over on her again. You want to sell drugs, you deal with your father. Basically having an I don't give a fuck attitude. And Alexis is trying to convince her that she's wrong. And she's acting just like mommy, And, she's hiding herself in her work like she did when she would run into the bathroom to escape, like just always escaping, never truly dealing with the life that she's created. That's fucking hard. So this job is helping her prove that she's not a fool the way they treat her. And it's like, girl, your son is not trying to get over on you. Your son is doing what y'all have taught him to do. Your husband is the one that's always getting over on you. Your son is mimicking what his father is doing. And you putting your son in the same box with his father like he's not an 8-year-old that you're still responsible for. And that's what Alexis is trying to make her see. Alexis asked her to be a mother and go talk to her kid. And Lisette says Alexis doesn't know anything about being a mother. So don't talk about what you don't know, Alex. Once again, being transphobic whenever Alexis isn't, always making you feel like rainbows and fucking sunshine. Now she's a he and he's Alex. That's fucked up that she does that all the time. Whenever she gets mad, she throws a transphobic comment out there. And I think that's a representation of how a lot of cisgender women handle trans and gay people that they can be friends with. You cool with them. And then when you get mad, you say every slur you could think of. That just shows that you really don't fuck with them people like that. I'm just saying. Anyway, Alexis says, I don't know about being a mother, but I know about being a scared little boy. And his father just beat his ass in front of the whole neighborhood and told him that he wasn't a man. Don't tell me that I don't know how he feels. Okay? Obviously, that is something that Alex, as a little boy, had to deal with. His father abusing him, telling him that he wasn't going to be a man, emasculating him, degrading him because he was gay or effeminate. So Lisette says, listen, my son isn't like, tried to throw Alexis off like, my son isn't jumping in dresses. It's like, bitch, that's not the point. The point is how we're treating the children. That's the fucking point. Okay? Like, she apparently was missing that part. So Lisette says he was dealing drugs. Alexis says he's 8 years old, Lisette. You're going to push him away for something he did? You're his mother. You're supposed to love him more than that. Y'all, this scene is so good, bro. This scene is so good. Lisette says that she sat in that house like a very good mother, and seeing his father walked all over her. So if they aren't going to act right, she's not going to deal with them. Alexis says, because you got your life to lead. You sound just like mommy. Lisette says, well, maybe she's right. She got her cart. She got her man. She doesn't let anybody interfere with her happiness. Not you, not me. And Alexis says, like, pretending we don't exist. Maybe. That doesn't make everybody happy. Lisette says, that's your problem, not mommy's. So Alexis gets dressed up, and she was playing Try a Little Tenderness during this part. Like, she wanted to listen to her, her salsa music or whatever. And Alexis was like, it's my house. And Alexis put in the Otis Redding Try a Little Tenderness tape in as they're having this conversation. And then Alexis gets all dressed up, black, pretty dress, halter, puts her hair in the updo, does the makeup, and then goes to her parents' house and knocks on the door. And her mom comes to the door. What are you doing here? I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you like this. If your father comes out here, what are you doing? And then the father comes walking up. Get out of here. And then we don't see nothing else. Then Alexis goes home to Lisette, and her face is bloodied and bruised, and her eye is big, and she starts to peel the pictures of her mom and her dad off of her mirror. And she says, you're wrong, Lisette. It's not my problem. It's theirs. Because even with what they did to me, I still love them. And I didn't do anything to them. Y'all, oh my God. Like, when I was watching it, y'all, like it had me boohoo crying when I was watching it. I'm not even gonna lie, because I really understand the feeling of not being able to reach people that are supposed to love you, people that have said they love you, people that are supposed to represent love for you in some type of way, whether it's a parent, family member, or a significant other. But there will be something, especially when you're gay or trans or anything that's outside of a norm for people, where it's like you cannot reach them. And whatever place that they're supposed to love you in, you cannot find them in that place. It is such a terrible feeling. And I feel like I felt it many times in my life, but I don't think I ever really had the words for it. And I think this is the perfect example of that. Not being able to reach people when they're supposed to love you. You're not supposed to be this far away from me that my reasoning doesn't reach you, that my logic doesn't reach you, that just me being a person doesn't reach you. And there's nothing that I can say to make you handle me with a little bit more care in this moment, even though I'm asking and begging for it. It is definitely a moment that I've experienced. And it is still one of the most painful things that I feel like I've ever gone through in my life. And this moment just kind of reflected that. And a lot of the movies that I liked growing up as a kid, I feel like they just reflect something that was going on with me, or something that I identified with at a young age that I wasn't even clear on. But this was always one of my favorite movies for a plethora of reasons. And I think one of those things is being able to identify in the characters that is somebody that they can't reach, somebody that's supposed to love them, that they love, that they cannot reach, that they cannot reason with. And what that feels like, it is small little deaths is what it'll feel like. Because I think at some point, if you don't heal yourself, it kills off parts of you. It just does. When you realize the people that you hold closest, the people that were supposed to love you unconditionally, and they don't, like, not really. It is such a painful recognition for a child to have. And Alexis in this scene is showcasing that. And even with C, it's like y'all mad at C for selling drugs, and C has been following you around this entire movie, hearing how you don't even have $5 and his daddy is in jail and wants you to spend money on a lottery ticket, and y'all don't have food. Like, what did you expect him to do? And then you decide to punish him for how he responded to y'all's negligence. That's another thing. Like, making it seem as if C and Minnie are just these badass kids, when it's like y'all neglect them. Y'all just be going on about y'all fucking lives, and the kids just be running behind y'all. And I think it was the same thing with Lisette's parents, with Alexis and Lisette's parents. I think they very much had their own thing going on, even in childhood. And now that everybody's adults, they've just decided they don't have to deal with their kids. And so this is the moment, I guess, where Lisette sees that she doesn't want to be like her mom. And she hugs Alexis and says, "I'm not like them, Alexis. I'm not like them." It was a lot, y'all, but it's literally one of the best scenes ever in a movie to depict what it feels like to be othered inside of your family, to be trans or to be gay in your family that does not accept it, and how you can love them so much and want them to just be okay with who you are without the nastiness and the meanness, and they just cannot do it. And you have to ask yourself, then where is the love? Where is the love then? You never really loved your kids if this is how you respond to them. Like, I'm just saying. Yes, literally one of the best trans scenes ever. Okay. So Angel and Chino are putting their, the youngest son to bed. And Angel tells Chino that Richie is his son and he's Richie's real father. And he was pissed. He was like, he almost choked that nigga out. He almost woke the baby up. And he was like, why would you let me do that? And he was like, man, you like being a father. He was like, yeah, Angel, to my own kids. What the fuck? Lisette goes home and C is in a closet in a sleeping bag. And she tells him that she's not running away. He could never talk to her again, but she's not leaving. And she tells him that she's sorry. She asks if he forgives her. So he comes out the closet and says, I guess so. And she hugs him with his toy in his hand. And in this moment, look at your kid, because he's a fucking kid. Like, to me, that's what this moment showcase, that you are the parent and you now have to be the parent, the bigger person. You got to go to your kid and say that you're sorry because you neglected your kid and you stressed your kid the fuck out to the point that he, as an 8-year-old, felt like he needed to go out there and sell drugs because he needed to be a man in the environment where there were no other adults available to him because y'all weren't acting like adults. So the next morning, Lisette and Chino both deal with their kids while screaming about the terms of the new arrangement. This is his side of the apartment. This her side of the apartment. The kids are, running around and acting a fool and throwing cereal everywhere. And Chino was like, no, they could play. That is my side of the apartment. They could play. And so she's like, oh, it could play. So she pours all the cereal on the floor. All right, daddy said y'all can play. Let's go. So she takes the two oldest and takes them to school, and she has to go to work. And then he's supposed to pick them up and be there when they get home from school. And then he has a night job as security guard that he's going to go to once Lisette is home. So that's the arrangement, right? And everybody living in the same house, which is really the smartest thing for them to do. And he says, well, I'm going to take the bed. You get the sofa. And she was like, fine, Chino. But I was like, the reason why this happened is because you was cheating on your wife and also because you went to jail. Why should she take the sofa? Nigga, you need to take the sofa. Especially he should have took the sofa because he was the one that was coming in late. You coming in late and waking me up. If I was in the bedroom, maybe I wouldn't be up. No, nigga, you need to sleep on the sofa. That don't even make no damn sense. Anyway, the set tells Price the Mendez brothers should cover Try a Little Tenderness in English and Spanish for a crossover and do a video where it's just one main girl, that's walking back and forth with them. Like she's trying to tell him her idea that she got from when Alexis was playing Try a Little Tenderness. She's always getting all of this inspiration from Alexis, and that's because Alexis is a muse. And all of her extraness and her not fitting into how y'all feel like men and women should fit and all of that type of shit, like turns into a muse for her sister. Okay. So then Price tries to have sex with Lisette again, and she tells him that she doesn't want to have sex with him. And, he was like, why? You don't want to have sex with me anymore. And she was like, because I want to have sex with somebody that knows I'm there. Like you literally were pumping inside of me like I wasn't even there. And of course, sex with Chino is better, but Chino wasn't much better. He was pumping it inside of you like you weren't there either. I guess you determined at this point that's not something you want to continue to experience. Thank God. Okay. He keep talking about he had a phone call to take. He's pissed and he threatens her and tells her that maybe, she should find somebody else to work for. She said, what you about to quit? He said, no, I'm not about to quit. And she said, okay, well, fine. You want to fire me? Fine. He says, make the arrangements for them to go to the studio like you was about to do. Like basically tried to, pretend like he was going to fire her, but he really didn't fire her. He needs her. He needs her. Okay. So Lisette gets to keep her job and doesn't have to fuck him again. But y'all see how he was about to fire her because she didn't want to have sex with him again? And so let's think about that, y'all. Y'all see how when these women come out and they accuse these men of sexual harassment or something, and y'all like she lying, it's a money grab. Imagine being in a situation where you did fuck him and you just don't want to fuck him anymore, and now he wants to fire you. Yeah, I should be able to sue you. I should be able to sue you for not being adult enough to fuck me and still work with me. But you can't not fuck me and still work with me. That's weird. That's weird. But I'm just saying, I think that a lot of times with some of these women, like, when we hear about, these sexual, they work together and then some sexual harassment, some sexual assault shit happen. I think that happens because a lot of times these women choose to have sex with these men. And then eventually the women no longer want to do that. And then the men get mad and want to try to get even with the woman for no longer allowing them access to you. So you try to fire her, or you try to demote her or ruin her career because she doesn't want to fuck you anymore. And then everybody acts like that's okay because she shouldn't have never fucked him, as if he wasn't already using her job and his position at her job to pressure her into sex in the first place. You see what I'm saying? It was always coercion. You're breaking trauma cycles. Bravo, child. You mean me? I'm trying. I feel like they was definitely trying to do that in this movie with their family. So Chino gets home and wakes Lisette. And when he opens the refrigerator and one of the millions of magnets falls off their refrigerator, y'all, this was so 90s. It reminded me of my childhood so much, y'all, because I don't even see people with like a million magnets on their refrigerator anymore. But we used to have so many fucking magnets all over that refrigerator. ABC 1, 2, 3. Little ones we got from different places, child. We had magnets all over the refrigerator back in the 90s, girl. Oh, it has not been like that since. But anyway, so Lisette wakes up, finds her ring, which is on a chain in a couch cushion. Chino turns the stove on. He's ignoring her, but doesn't know how to actually turn the stove on. So she was like, is that the gas? You can't just turn the stove on, Chino. You gotta light it. So she goes over because it's like he gonna blow up the house if I don't help him put this goddamn TV dinner into the oven. Okay. So apparently he's pissed off because once she had sex with Price, she put the condom in a t-shirt, wrapped it up, and then brought it to him. He was so fucking mad. Okay. He was so mad when she finally did have sex with him. He thought that she had sex with him, but she didn't. But when she actually did have sex with him, she brought him the broken condom wrapper wrapped in his jersey. It was a moment, okay? Especially because of all of that Magdalena shit, okay? So he wants to know all of the things that she did because it's driving him crazy. So they sit down and they make a list of everything they've done. Of course, his list is 39 items long, and hers, she only did one. You laid down and you let that nigga fuck you. He poked you. That was it. I ain't see no head. I ain't see no knowledge. I ain't see nothing like that. So now that he knows that she didn't do all of the things that he did with Magdalena, he feels better about it. But now she got to think about all of the nasty shit he did with Magdalena. Child. Oh my God. And she says, like, you just don't think about the other person. Like, she mentioned that to him, like, you just out here making decisions without even thinking about me. And that's because the love was a manipulation. That's why. Because anytime he was showing her love, it was to manipulate her, not because he really, really felt it. And it's not that he didn't love her. It's just that the love he felt for her was not being genuinely shown to her. Love for her genuinely is putting your feelings to the side and getting a good job and working and taking care of her and giving her the freedom and the space to do what she needs to do for herself, even if it does make you feel uncomfortable, because it's not all about you. You know what I'm saying? And trusting her to work a job without fucking somebody. Like, come on. I think the only reason she fucked dude was because of the things that you were doing. If that hadn't happened, she wouldn't have fucked Price. Anyway, so she asked about Magdalena, and he said he wouldn't know because Angel is Richie's father. And also, he says everything he felt for her is dead because he's thinking about, her and dude doing the rawest shit. And that's when they do the list and he sees it and he feels so much better about it. And she says his problem is he never thinks about the other person. He says, good night, other person. And that was the end of it. And then we see this like montage scene with her working with Price to do the Mendez brothers video on the beach with their remix to Try a Little Tenderness. And I'm sorry, but nobody is going to outsing Otis Redding for this one because Otis Redding's vocal tone is so beautiful and raw and just all on a league by itself. You know what I mean? Like, I love Otis Redding's voice. So they do the video and, they walk up and down on the beach. And that's where you see the top picture here, this very top picture of them on the train. That was them going home after the video shoot. But she brought him on the video shoot. The kids were there. They were all on the beach. And it was, by the Ferris wheel and everything. And it was beautiful because it looked as if they had worked it out and now they're really going to try to make their relationship work. Meaning that Chino's going to work his fucking job and try to climb his way up. He's going to help with the kids. He's going to be there for them. And he loves his son. Like, he loves his kids. He showed that with the way he showed them affection. He cared about what they had going on. I think he was just getting in his own way. I think that with this show, to me, this movie was such a really good exploration of parenting, because I think what I saw was his mother babying him and not preparing him to be a man in this world. And you saw her parents, I think, baby her in some ways, because the first pretty man that she, has sex with, she has 3 babies and gets married and now wants to leave it to Beaver Joan Cleaver life, where she stays at home and takes care of the kids and he goes and works. But that's not reasonable. But that's what everybody saw as the image they were trying to perpetuate, right? So that's the life they were trying to live as two, I feel like, children in adult people's bodies trying to play house. And really what you realize is that there's responsibility and there are, you have to have discipline, and you can't be the type of man that allows your friends to hear you fucking your wife so that they can see it as some entertainment for them. The sex with your wife needs to be something between the two of y'all. The window needs to be closed, nigga. The kids need to be at Alexis or at your mama's house or somebody else's house. Shit, make Angel watch some of these fucking kids. He ain't doing shit in the basement laughing and fucking on Magdalena and having babies he don't want claim until the umpteen hour. Okay. Also, Lisette needed a job. Lisette needed something to do for herself. She was way too smart to be sitting at home trying to take care of kids and just being the, oh, I love Chino, he's my life. Like, no, I feel like most intelligent women are way more than that and should have more to look at in their lives. But she would have known that if she wasn't being told to be, puritanical. I bet you any money, with a Puerto Rican mama and a Jamaican daddy, you were raised in a puritanical household that told you not to date. And so as soon as you got with Chino, y'all fucked and got married because you was pregnant. Like, to me, that showcases what I've been hearing on social media a lot about. We've been having conversations about how they don't let young Black women date as teenagers because, that you not, that's grown. They don't want you to have sex, but they also don't give you the opportunity to create the experience of dating, because once you experience dating and experience how boys and men work, you are a little bit more astute when you become a young woman and you're actually out in the world on your own. I think the mistake that a lot of people make is that they don't raise their children to be adults. They are basically trying to maintain their children as children until 18, and then you make them become adults, when really you're supposed to be raising children to be adults the entire time. So Chino should have been being taught discipline. What are you going to do with your life? Not his mama, just messing over him because he's so nice looking and shit, which you can tell was basically all he was ever being told to worry about was his looks. Lisette was probably being taught to, be a woman of God and find a husband and all of that. And she did that, but y'all still wasn't happy because she didn't choose the husband y'all wanted her to choose. And then you have Alex, aka Alexis, who is trans and absolutely living outside of the norm, but also has a business and a botanica and doing very well for herself, taking care of herself, being a really good aunt and being there for those kids when their parents aren't. Being emotionally empathetic to those children, even when their parents aren't. I think everybody's role is necessary, and people don't need to look how you want them to look in order for them to fill a role. Alexis was very vital to their family dynamic, but y'all will vote against trans people in spite of how that's gonna harm you in the long run. Y'all, the fact that this election was basically won because of how many people are transphobic is wild. It's wild. But yeah, y'all, that was I Like It Like That. Now, do I feel like Chino and Lisette should have stayed together? Yes. I do think they should have stayed together. And I think they should have, tried to work it out. Because at the end of the day, Lisette needs to work and he needs to allow her to work. He needs to work. He also needs to help with the kids. She needs to help him with the kids. Like, y'all have created a family out of you guys, traditions and ignorances. And now, with the knowledge that you have now, probably just now becoming 25, okay, probably just now becoming 25, 26, 27 years old, I think that they stay together because, for one, I think they do still love each other. And I feel like they needed to stay together for those children, and they didn't have enough money to separate their households. So to me, I do feel like they needed to stay in the same house and take care of their kids and contribute to the same household, even if they weren't going to be in a romantic relationship, but they did still love each other. So that's the reason why they should have been together. I think that as long as they still love each other and he was willing to grow, and I think that's what that end part was, showing us that Chino was growing up, because now Chino's being more responsible. And also, now that everybody's cheated on everybody, we got it out of our system. We know we still only want each other for the most part. So now we can try to make it work with one another. Because the entire movie, he never said he didn't love Lisette. He always said, I love Lisette. I love Lisette. Which to me means I don't want to divorce her. I want to be with her. Because he could have went and moved on to Magdalena if that's what he wanted to do. But that's not what he really wanted. I think he wants his family with her. I think she wants her family with him. And it's just a matter of everybody coming to the table and doing what they need to do in order to make that work. Now, does that last forever? Like, are we in 2025 and I like it like that land and they still together, child? I don't know. I don't know. I know their kids grown by now though. I know their kids grown, child. The kids, you know what it is? They stayed together until the kids was teenagers and then they got a divorce. She got a good job. He probably got some good government job somewhere or, probably became a firefighter. Child, you never know what happened after. But I do feel like based on what we saw from them, they were just very young, making a lot of extreme decisions before they were ready to make those decisions, or really before they knew how to handle the decisions that they had made. And I think that has a lot to do with education and poverty and what is, given to people who live in neighborhoods like they do. Not a lot. And so you do what you can. And that's another thing I feel like, people have this puritanical mindset like people don't fuck because they're bored. People fuck because they're bored. People in the country fuck because they're bored. People in the city fuck because they're bored. People have sex because they're bored. And also because it feels good and it's pleasurable and life can be very unpleasant. And so how do you offset the unpleasantness of life? You have sex. That's the reason why people have sex, and people are going to always have sex for those reasons. And the idea that we can ever get to a point where everybody has decided to be pure enough for this all to work the way it's supposed to work is bullshit and delusional. It's delusional. I think it's better to change our mindsets about these things than to continue to keep that same traditional mindset in place, like abstinence or being married or, like any of those things are really going to save you from the hardships of having a family. Like none of that is going to help you for real. Because they were married. Did that really help them that they were married? The only thing it helped is that she had a $30 ring to pawn when she needed some extra money. The fuck? That was the only time them being married actually meant something. He cheated. It didn't mean anything. She went out and got a job, didn't cheat on him. She still wasn't given the benefit of the doubt in the same way that she had repeatedly gave it to him, even though everybody in the neighborhood, including Magdalena, was letting her know what was going on. So it's a lot to this. I also feel like this form of community is toxic, and that's the reason why people don't like being in community with each other the way they used to. Because I think people used to do too much. You too much in other people's business. You too judgy. A lot of your, feelings about things you push on other people. Like just think about the fact that they needed the welfare, but they feel shamed about needing it, so they don't want to get it. I'd rather starve and struggle than get on welfare because people are going to talk bad about me. Like just the things that all of the different themes that were going on in this movie, I feel like it's really about living in poverty. And look at what they say. I like it like that. For Lisette, every day has become Independence Day because every day she was finding a way to free herself from the expectations that were set for her. And the more she sought what was good for her, the better everybody got. I'm just saying. And not in a selfish way. Like you don't just leave your kids to the wayside, but no, you want to work so you get a job and then you figure out how to make that work with your family dynamic, but you don't just not work. Like no, especially if that's something you want to do. Yes, my neighbors are too close for comfort for me to form a relationship with. Yeah, no, I understand that. I agree with staying in the same house in a relationship. Nope. I feel like they needed to stay in a relationship until they no longer wanted to be in one. And that's the reason why I said that. I feel like as much as we could, be like, oh, they needed to break up. The truth of the matter is people are going to go on cycles until they're completely done. So a lot of times it has to run its course, just like a bad cold. All right. But either way, y'all, I really enjoyed this one. I hope y'all enjoyed this now that we're grown as well. And I think my next one is going to be The Notebook. Like I said last night on the Ooh Ladies First panel. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I hope y'all enjoyed this one. And I will see you guys later for something. Peace out, y'all.